Welcome YouTube. What's up, everybody? It's a nice Friday night we got going on here. Okay, so we're talking about the digital SHSAT still. We're actually up to part 10. Wow. Okay, so we have a lot going on here. Um, so today what we're going to focus on is the student readiness tool. Okay, and it's kind of the platform that you're going to be using for the exam itself. Now, it's not literally the platform because the student readiness tool is actually a tutorial. Okay, so what it presents is it's going to have all the tools and features that you're going to be using on the SHSAT when it goes digital, both the 2025 version and for the future 2026 versions when it finally goes adaptive. All right, so what we're going to do is explore that a little bit. Now, the way the SRT, the Student Readiness Tool, is presented is that the left side of the screen has a video, and the right side of the screen has an example to basically try. All right, so I'm not going to replay the videos, and I'm more or less going to summarize some of what we're seeing from that kind of perspective of those things. All right, so give me a second. Let me get rid of this image here. And welcome, everybody. Let's see. Let's try to get Chrome in here. Okay, there we go. And let's do that. All right, so we're kind of exploring here. This is uncharted territory, if so to speak, for many of you. Certainly for me, we've never seen anything like this before. This is specifically going to be for the SHSAT. Now, the vendor who produced this does other platforms, but it's going to be tailored for tools. So, for instance, a calculator might be a tool for other exams, but the SHSAT does not have a calculator, and the digital one's not going to have one either. All right, so and yeah, so as we go along these, if you have questions, feel free to ask them. Just keep your questions focused. So if we're talking about the highlighting tool, don't ask me when scores are coming out. We can do that at the very end of the session. All right, so all right, let me get to that screen. All right, so they're calling this the Student Readiness Tool. There's a bunch of videos here. If you notice, the top here has a home and a resources, right? Pearson is the vendor, all right? So you don't need to really be clicking on that. The home will bring you to here, and where it's bringing you to is srt.testnav.com /ny-shat /ny-shat/srt /html. So that's kind of a mouthful. Um, so let me see here. I'm gonna if we come here, if you go down, scroll down, and I'm gonna be adding to this to these features here. But if you go to the URL highlighted at the bottom of the screen, GregsTutoringNYC.com /SHSAT digital facts. We go to the bottom and go to video number 9. You're gonna see, where is it? This line right here. That's the link we're talking about. I suspect this link is not gonna stay this way forever. It's kind of a sloppy link, if you will. And I can zoom into that there. So it's going to be srt.testnav.com /ny-shsat /ny-shsat-srt.html. So it's definitely a mouthful. And let me see if I can cut and paste that into the chat for anybody who wants to be able to get that. Yeah, I think I can do that easy enough here. All right. They need to clean that up, and I think they're going to rename it. There's still remnants of other exams stuck in the middle of that as well. I see a few people in the lobby. Please like and subscribe. Yeah, let's do that. And again, you can ask questions as we go along. All right. So now that's going to be the thing there. Again, this is a tutorial. This is not an exam. This is not a test, okay? The SRT is not an exam. The SRT is not a test. And it's presenting what they're calling TEIs, tech-enhanced items, and I'm calling TEFs. They don't seem to use that term, but a tech-enhanced feature. So once we're going digital, we have different capabilities available to us that we didn't have on pencil and paper, okay? So it's a learning tool. This is learning tool. It's a tutorial. And any examples you see are not actually SHSAT examples. They're only there to demonstrate the feature that the little video is talking about alongside of it, okay? So basically the sample questions given are just abstractions that are not really going to help us. But they're there to let us see how we can navigate around and what we can click on and what tools we can use at different points and so on. So what the SRT really is for is to practice the features, right, to TEF, the tech enhanced features of the SRT. All right, so there's a bunch of new acronyms you're gonna have to learn. I don't think that's too horrible, but basically that's what we're going here. So this is kind of a review, a pre-testing review. It's kind of like with the pencil and paper exam, you need to have your eraser and pencil handy. So for this, because it's digital and this clickable features and mousing and all this other stuff, you need to know how it works. So there does need to be a bit of savvy behind this here. I've gone through it now twice, and it's not too heavy, so it's going to be reasonable. All right, so that's really there. So and you have to go through the SRT. If you don't go through the SRT, you're going to be at a disadvantage. The SRT is like I said, there's videos with tutorial, and on the right-hand side, there's actual examples. So if you're not familiar with how to use the tech enhanced capabilities, you're not going to be able to get through the exam. So if you want to, obviously clicking on a multiple choice, that's probably easy, but there's other features like a question eliminator and stuff like that. And if you don't know that, you're not going to be taking full advantage of the environment, the platform, the SHSAT online platform, right? The digitization of it, okay? So I know I'm talking in circles here, but that's what you need to do. So, and again, it's important to understand the SRT environment, because if you don't understand the environment they're presenting there, when you get to test day, you're not going to understand it. So the SRT is not the test platform. It's a tutorial demonstrating the test platform. I'm going to say that many, many times because I've already talked to people who think the SRT is the actual exam. It's not. This is only a tutorial. All right, so that's where we're going. And what you want to do is balance between all this stuff. You're going to be doing test prep, including using workbooks, test prep using paper and pencil. You're going to do test prep maybe with a PDF, and you're going to end up using test prep on the platform. So part of the thing, just like reading a passage, here's a common error that happens with pencil and paper exams. If there's a 2-column passage, a lot of students actually don't read the second column, and they'll read the first column and go right to the questions. This is not a paper-based exam, okay? So that's a limitation. You need to be aware that there might be another column based on the exam and things like that. So if you don't know how to use the digital features, the tech enhanced features, they're calling them, then you're going to be messed up and not be able to get this exam right, okay? And what you need to do is, just like anything, you're going to probably have to come back to this SRT multiple times. It's not really super hard, but it's something you might forget a feature. You might not have been clear on a feature. For instance, there is a text-to-speech feature that's a little confusing to use. That's probably the most confusing one. And there's some redundancy in some of the features, and it may or may not be clear when to use what or not. I'm also not sure on that note, actually, that the text-to-speech feature is going to be available for every student, because it applies, you need to have a headset. Otherwise, your device is going to be talking out loud in the middle of the exam. And even if this is something that happens before the exam, that will be not really good if everybody's laptop or whatever is running through things. So you want to be familiar with all this beforehand and actually test it out a few times, more than once, okay? Because it's easy to do this when they hopefully release a practice exam online in March, you might just jump into it and kind of forget what some of the features are, right? So you want to take advantage of the features. Okay, so that's important to do. All right, so this is part of your spiel, part of your deal, part of what you're going to be doing when you're getting into there. So and basically you want to take the SRT in bite-sized pieces. So that's part of what I'm yin-yanging in my head right now is how many parts to split this video up into, because what um, I'm just introducing the SRT right now. I'm not sure actually whether to jump into some of the other parts of it. Um, but let's go. So there's just a tiny blurb here, and then it says take the tutorial, right? So again, the SRT is a tutorial. So if we click on that, okay, it's going to bring up another link, and it's going to load some stuff. So this is strictly browser based. Welcome guest user. So that's what it thinks my name is. If we come over here to the side, the right-hand side, right, it thinks I'm guest user right there, right? User drop-down menu. That's going to be one of the menus we're going to end up using, all right? So anyway, welcome guest user. The SHSAT student readiness tool. Has one section, and there is 0 questions. So because this is not an actual exam and it's only a tutorial, there's no actual questions. And then we would click start right here to actually get the SRT working. Welcome to your SRT. The following lessons will teach you how to go around the test using helpful tools for testing and much more. Click start to begin learning, right? This is a learning tool. So we click start. It brings us to the first section. And again, there's no questions, but there's going to be a sequence of a library of features that's going to give us. So we're going to have to click start again. All right, so it just wants to be sure. And this is going to be your scenario when you take the exam as well. It really wants to know whether you're sure about what's happening or not. All right, so this is pretty much what our situation is going to be. So this is already setting up the first section, which is navigation and getting around the actual test tool, right? So this is the tool of the tutorial, but also the tool that you're going to be using for your exam, right? So your actual exam, this in a way is a mock situation. The actual exam is going to have the right-hand side of the screen, but not the videos on the left-hand side, all right? So let's just look at what we have. We have a left and a right arrow at the top. The right arrow is blue because we can't go back. We're at the beginning right now. There's a review button, a bookmark button, 3 buttons here, okay? The guest user button, which has a drop down, okay? And then there's some buttons over here, and if you look at them, that looks like a play button, a back button, a megaphone, a back, right? And things like that. So text to speech, so we have some capabilities all over the place. All right, and then the gray bar kind of has our bearings. It's telling us where we are. All right, so that's our main thing. And so just for instance, I can click the blue arrow once. It brings me to the first thing it's going to talk about. The next arrow, I can click it again. It talks about the back arrow, so I can click the back arrow, right? And I can go navigate back and forth with this kind of a thing. All right, so this is basically our first set of tools that the platform is going to allow us to use. So again, the SRT is a tutorial, but it's teaching you what the features of the online testing platform is going to be supporting. Okay? All right, so what I think I'm going to do is end this video and then just continue on a second part, or part 11 or whatever it's going to be, talking about the navigation tools. And there's about 4 or 5 groups of sections of stuff. There's about four categories of tools. And then there's all the question types. In part 4, 5, and 6 of this series, we went through some of the question types. Okay? But that was me surmising what some of them. But it turned out most of my surmising, if not all of them, were actually correct. All right, so and anyway, we're gonna maybe make that the last step here about that. All right, so I'm going to end the video. and we're going to break this into pieces. That way, if you do need to come back to these, you can. All right, so peace out, and I'll probably be back in 5 minutes.